Hello, welcome back to this module on VUCA. So you probably heard of VUCA, in the magazine, on TV, on radio, elsewhere over the last many years, especially during the pandemic. VUCA is not a new term. It's a term coined by the U.S. Army College back in 1980s, when during the post-Cold War, how to be able to get the army, the leaders, to be able to, the US Army want them to be able to ready to disrupt their thinking, because their known enemy at that time, the Russian, the USSR, the Soviet Union, no longer exists because of the detente between the US President Ronald Reagan then and the USSR Secretary General Mikhail Gorbachev. So that phenomena about looking and disrupting your thinking because of the environment is presented. So what does VUCA mean? VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's a new normal that we can expect, especially in the post-pandemic and the highly disruptive and crisis-laden world that we are in today. If you look at VUCA, the definition of VUCA, there's a very good article I would recommend you to. Besides my book, we look at this Harvard Business Review article by Nathan Bennett and James Lemoyne, talk about what VUCA really means for you. And it applies for the business context. Number one, volatility can be described in an example when there is a natural disaster, when there is we look at either earthquake or flood, when supply chain are disrupted, like what we've seen in Thailand. Back in 2012, when the massive flood in Thailand disrupted the automobile industry in Thailand. And we must be prepared for uncertainty. For example, you have developed all your strategy to be able to launch a product, and suddenly you find that there is a competitor, a new startup, or new product launched by your leading competitor. So how do you get yourself prepared for that? And then complexity, doing business in many countries with different set of regulatory framework, different cross-cultural values, and you need to understand that. A good example is like, classical example with Coca-Cola, Coke and Pepsi, where Coke failed and Pepsi tried, is to understand what is it to leverage on the local regulatory, working with the local community to bring about mutually beneficial results. And lastly, ambiguity, moving to market outside your organization core competency, where you have many airlines, we have full-fledged airlines, example Singapore Airlines, wanted to move into the budget airline, no-frills airline, which is in Asia context, is dominated by AirAsia. So how do you transform and wanting to move into that area without you need to be prepared, get your team to be prepared. So how do you do that? How do you manage that? And to manage it, we have what we call the VUCA prime model, and you can get the details from my book. But the VUCA prime model basically means to manage the volatility in the business environment, you need to envision the future. You need to provide people hope, inspire them to be able to look at the future, give a sense of purpose. And to manage the uncertainty is to provide an understanding. What are these challenges? What are the different set of challenges? Who are the competitors? What are their strengths? Who are the potential entrants to the market? And if you talk about complexity, you need to understand and give clarity of the different market that you're entering. What are the potential hurdles, barriers from the regulatory, from the political, legal, from the cultural aspect, social aspect. And lastly, ambiguity, basically give yourself and your team the ability to develop the agility and resilience to respond quickly to the change and to maneuver through a set of skills like cognitive readiness and critical thinking, which I will talk about in future video. With that note, I look forward to engaging you further, and I'll talk about the next video about how do you then navigate as well. Besides the VUCA prime model, there's another model that you can apply to help the organization to remain relevant in the VUCA-driven world that we are seeing today. Thank you.